Hello everyone, and welcome to our tutorial on exploring the Bootstrap website. Here what we're going to do is navigate to our Bootstrap website. We're going to open up the documentation and we'll just take a look at a few examples to gain an understanding of kind of how to use Bootstrap. So step number 1, get to the website. Step number 2, open up the documentation part. Step number 3 will be examining a few choice elements. And step number 4 will be discovering how to add these elements to our web apps, so we'll be taking a look at the source code themselves. After this, I'd encourage you guys to play around a little bit before moving to the next section, just to familiarize yourselves a bit more. So let's head on over there now. I'm just going to open a new tab here. I'm using Chrome, although feel free to use whichever browser you'd like. And we're going to search for Bootstrap. Okay, we're going to go to this first link here, getbootstrap.com. And we're going to ignore this stuff. I'll show you how to download and incorporate Bootstrap a little bit later. What we're going to do is head on over to documentation up top. Okay, and we're actually going to skip over this getting started. This just shows you how to add in the necessary headers to, or rather the necessary tags to our header file in order to actually gain access to Bootstrap's framework. What we'll take a quick look at is going to be layout. Although we won't spend a ton of time on this because we will be focusing specifically on the grid layout in, I believe, the next section. Just for now, let's take a really quick look at that. You'll note that Bootstrap, this web page, and pretty much all of the pages in our Bootstrap documentation are kind of formatted this way. They'll have the actual examples of what something will look like using the Bootstrap code, and then the code that is used to generate this. So this might be a container class, you'd have some content, and it might look something like this. This might be a fluid container class, and it might look something like this. Okay, like I said, we'll be using grid for the most part, and we'll just take a quick look at that specifically. Grid is going to be the basic way in which we'll lay stuff out using Bootstrap. It's actually very easy to use, kind of follows a little bit like the tables in HTML, in which we'll have the overall structure, in this case just a container. Each is divided into various rows. In this case this is one row. I believe the next one is a few rows, so this one is 2 rows here. And then there are columns for each row. So this is first column, second column, and third column. As you can see, we've got the overall container, we've got 1 row, and then we have 3 columns here. Okay, so that's your general grid structure. We will actually come back to this and examine this in greater detail. For now, I just want to take a really quick look at how the documentation's formatted. So like I said, most of the pages are laid out this way. We'll have the actual element, or what we're trying to understand here. We'll have the actual example as it would be outputted if we were to run the code. And then we would have the code that would actually generate that example. So if we were to literally copy and paste this into an HTML file with, of course, the correct tags, and we were to then run that page, maybe on a browser or something, it would look exactly like this. And that's how the rest of the documentation is going to work. Now, just taking a look at the grid code isn't terribly interesting, so let's jump on over to some components, and we'll just take a really quick look at a few of these. So alerts, let's start with alerts, because they're the very first element, are very commonly used. So very often you might click on something and it says, you're good to go, or maybe it says you can't do that, maybe it even needs some input. So we've all used alerts and we've all seen them pop up. Well, here we get to use the custom Bootstrap Alert class, and we might get some nicer looking alerts like this. So here are some examples of our alerts. There's the main element that we're looking at up top, and then we'll take a look at some really quick examples. So it tells you a bit about it, what it's used for, and then it shows you some examples of how it would look once a code is run, and then of course the code that actually generates that example above. So note how there's no extra CSS, there's no extra JavaScript or HTML. Simply by calling upon these divs and plugging in the appropriate class, we get this appearance. It gives a nice font, it gives some nice padding and spacing, it's filled up the page width, it's got the nice rounded corners, a bit of a border, and a nice color. So this is actually all specified through this alert and alert primary class, and of course we need to make sure that the role is an alert. Now, some of the Bootstrap elements, not all of them, in fact a lot of them actually, are simple divs. Okay, they're divs with a specific Bootstrap class applied to them, perhaps even a role, and then they take on the behaviors specified in the Bootstrap framework itself. So in this case, a div with this class applied and this role will take on exactly this appearance. It will take on an alert appearance because we're using an alert bootstrap class. An alert primary indicates that it's supposed to be this color scheme. Note the secondary alert is going to be gray. This next one is going to be a success and danger. These are going to be green and red respectively. And we'll actually see this success, danger, primary, secondary, warning, etc. We'll see this color scheme pop up time and time again. Okay, so let's say you wanted to incorporate some of these alerts into your files, into your actual HTML code. You'd simply copy and paste maybe this div. Let's say we want that blue alert. Maybe we just copy and paste this right into the code. If you wanted the whole thing, you can grab it all by copying it like this, or of course doing the manual copy paste. So there's a few more ways we can kind of customize things a bit further. We can have an alert with an example like so. We can have an alert with additional content. As long as it's all within the class here, alert, and then something, alert success, primary, etc. Well, then we'll get the example as shown above. Alright, so that's a really quick look into alerts. Obviously there's a lot of elements to cover. We'll just take a quick look into buttons and maybe something else, and then I'll let you guys play around a bit on your own. So this is going to be all of the buttons that are available in Bootstrap. These are just really basic buttons. There's a lot of extra customization we can do. Let's just take a really quick look at the first example here. We have there's about 8 or 9 buttons here. So these are the examples. And this is the code, of course, to generate them. So this is our primary button. That's going to be, this time, a button element. Note that it's not a div class, but rather a button. The class is going to be btn, to signify that we're using a Bootstrap button. And then we specifically want the primary one. So we go btn primary and it looks like that. The btn secondary will look like this, success like this, danger, warning, info, light, dark, and link. So once more, there is no further CSS customization. This is exactly how these buttons will look. So that's really the benefit of using Bootstrap, is that we get this level of customization, we get this level of the buttons and the other elements already looking pretty nice without having to do any of that dirty work ourselves. If we wanted to replicate this, we'd have to apply a background color, round the corners, apply a nice font, maybe add some padding. We'd also need to specify this on hover behavior. It looks like there's a bit of a border, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different things that we'd need to do that Bootstrap has already done for us. Not all buttons are of the button element type, however. If we scroll down to the bottom, we should see checkbox and radio buttons, for example. These actually remain inputs because in HTML they are inputs. We do radio buttons and checkboxes as different types of inputs, in this case a checkbox or a radio. And so rather than being a Bootstrap button, it's actually just a div and then there's the input. They still however belong to the Bootstrap button overall class. In this case, with the radio buttons, we have a button group. Okay, specifically it's a toggle button group, and then we have all the items within it. Okay, and we get the specified behavior above. So it's not really doing much, it's just kind of changing in appearance a bit. We have the secondary active, which is why this is the first one that's selected when the page loads. And so there's a bunch of customizationable options. So the last one we'll take a really quick look at will be drop downs, because again drop downs are very commonly used. Just a nice way to drop down a menu of options. Okay, so here we're on the drop down page. Let's say we just have a single button that when clicked on will provide some options here. Well, here this is a div of class drop down. We have a button that's going to be the very first one. Note that it's a secondary button because it's grey. It's a drop down toggle type button, which means it's going to actually drop something down. Okay, there's the ID and a bit more information about it. And the options are in the drop-down menu class. This is actually a div here. Okay, and we have each of the options. There's going to be a class drop-down item, and then action, another action, and something else. The href is actually going to do something, maybe navigate to a different page or perform some action. Now these all belong to the drop-down item class, just as this belongs to the drop-down and this button belongs to a button class. So these are all once again Bootstrap classes. That allows us to access Bootstrap's already pre-formatted templates for each of these items. So now you've seen 3 items and learned a very small amount about the grid layout system. What I would strongly encourage you to do is choose a few of your favorite kinds of widgets and interactive elements and just maybe examine them, take a look at some of the code, take a look at some of the examples and see how these can be customized. When you're ready to move on, we'll talk a little bit more about this grid container system and how we can use it to develop web pages. So, thanks very much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next section.